Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to continue to be your daily advocate. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you who have been watching and following me for so long. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad that I can be this person.
John Deaton says this is in fact the biggest motion, one of the biggest motions of the case. Like he said, what is the likelihood that one person in a 63 email chain in 2018, while XRP and ETH were battling for the #2 spot of the crypto market cap, didn't happen to mention XRP? I like those odds, John Deaton. Digital Euro Associations is delighted to announce its partnership with Real-Time Gross Settlement Global, which is building a financial market infrastructure, FMI, for the digital age. We are very much looking forward to the collaboration into carrying digital money forward jointly. Going forward through this news, I feel like you are going to, it feels like when I laid this out this morning, as the news was coming in, it feels like we're witnessing the new rollout of the financial system. It really does. Take a look at this. Digital Pound Foundation says the U.S. recognizes the value of interoperability with other CBDCs to support the continued centrality of the United States within the international financial system, and to help protect the unique role the dollar plays in global finance. In other words, the U.S. isn't trying to be the same seat when they go to the new financial system that it's sitting in already right now. They're not going to miss an opportunity, I believe, to introduce a digital dollar. We'll get to more of that in a second. Wrath of Conman shows us here that Ripple partner Al Ansari Exchange, the UAE, is signed with the NPCI to offer real-time remittance services into India's UPI. They have an enormous amount of expats from India there. I'm not going to read this article to you, but there it is. I do want to give you this one spot. India is the largest recipient of cross-border remittances, receiving over $80 billion per year. Our partnership with Al Ansari Exchange is aimed at offering easy, safe, instant cross-border remittance facility leveraging up UPI's ecosystem. We believe this initiative will provide seamless real-time cross-border remittance experience to 3.5 million Indians residing in the UAE alone. It goes on to say here, in the constant endeavor to add value to lives of consumers in the area of digital payments, we believe this partnership is a step forward in the right direction. Know this: the United Arab Emirates is India's third largest trade partner, while the South Asian nation is Arab's country #1 non-oil trading partner. We're going to get to that in a second. It's a great interview and conversation here with Tony Edwards and Monica Long, General Manager of Ripple X. I want to give you this section right here where they specifically address CBDCs on private ledgers, which are really federated or side chains off of the XRP ledger, federated side chains. Take a listen.
Yeah, so I think when we last spoke about this, we had signed a couple of exciting projects. So that's with the Royal Monetary Authority of Bhutan and then the Republic of Palau. Bhutan is looking to build to create their own currency, CBDC, and then Palau is looking to create a U.S. dollar stablecoin since they use the U.S. dollar there. So they're, connecting back to your question about public versus private ledger, the way these CBDC pilots are being built are on private side chains to XRPL, using the same code base as XRPL as the underpinning of the private side chain. We've built and we're providing this product that makes the experience for the central banks to mint and manage and burn any coins very easy. So we're making lots of progress with those two projects and signing them. We have a lot of conversations, a lot of irons on the fire all around the world, and I really, I hope that we can share more news soon, because we're making really good progress on the central bank front.
Making really good progress on the central bank front, says Monica Long, talking to a A lot of different countries around the world, a lot of irons in the fire. We love hearing it. And I tell you what, we love hearing this too. This is a short clip with Brad Garlinghouse talking to Bloomberg. Judge rules in favor of Ripple. Listen to what he's got to say here.
This news, obviously a volatile market and a volatile market for Bitcoin as well.
Yeah, even though we see Ripple down a little bit today, it did really rise after this news. And over the 7-day period, actually, Emily, if you take a look, you do see Ripple rising to the point that it's rising almost twice as much as you see in Bitcoin over that period, and almost 3 times as you're seeing in Ethereum. So yes, very good news in terms of Ripple and its SEC defense, but there are a lot of questions remaining for the market, not just for Ripple, but the crypto industry here at large. And that question is, as Bloomberg Intelligence calls it, a factual one. Will it cause more issuers to register with the SEC? And what type of regulatory overhang does it leave for the market, even after the Biden executive order that created some clarity for the market?
All right, Shanali, stick with us. We're going to get deeper into this conversation with Ripple CEO himself, Brad Garlinghouse. Brad, good to have you back here on the show. You called this a victory in your battle against the SEC. What does it mean for you and also the broader crypto industry?
I do think I'll start there, really. I think it is a victory not just for Ripple, the company, but also the whole crypto industry, because the SEC, I think, has consistently tried to take point and really expand their reach and their control over the crypto industry. We've seen that not just with Ripple, but in other cases. And to have the executive order, as Shanali was talking about, the executive order came out and really said to all agencies, hey, we need to be coordinated. If we want the United States to be competitive in this key technology platform, we need to not have one group behaving one way and another group behaving another way. So we're really pleased by not just the court's decision, but also the executive order that came out last week.
What do you make of the very prominent role that crypto is playing in the war on Ukraine, and also concerns about how cryptocurrency could be used, for example, as a tool to circumvent sanctions by Russians?
You know, Emily, I think this is a bit of a red herring, meaning that there's a lot of attention around it as like, what does this mean? But the practicality of using it to circumvent sanctions, I think, is really difficult. And the reality is that if you just take the basic math, before the invasion of Ukraine, there's about $50 billion a day of Russian ruble cross-border FX trades. There's just not enough liquidity in the crypto market to really put much of a dent in that. Moreover, you know, the point at which sanctions are applied is at the endpoint. So through, you know, exchanges, a Bitstamp or a Binance. And I think you've seen globally that the major exchanges around the world say, hey, we're going to acknowledge, enforce, and respect those sanctions. And so I think that the idea that crypto is being used at any scale to circumvent sanctions is not a really. It doesn't really understand how some of this stuff works.
On one hand, you do have plenty of exchanges that seem to be working with the Biden administration to kind of figure out what's going on under the surface in the market. But on the other hand, when it comes to the SEC, it seems like they've been at the crosshairs of a number of different firms. Do you think the SEC is taking a tougher stance than the administration at large? And do you think that will hinder at all some of the progress that some firms are making?
Look, I think there's no question that the United States Securities and Exchange Commission has reduced the competitiveness of this critical industry in the United States. I think they've been out of step, not just with other parts of the US government, but they've been out of step with other major economies around the world. The only country in the world that considers XRP, the digital asset that Ripple uses in our technology stack, the only country in the world that thinks XRP could be a security is the United States. We work successfully in the UK, in Switzerland, in Japan, in the UAE, in Singapore. All of these countries have acknowledged XRP as a currency because that's how it's used. So I think the way the US, if we want the US to be a leader in this new, growing, critical, innovative industry, like the internet 20 years ago, we need that regulatory clarity. And the SEC is really just coming out and saying that we're going to file lawsuits, enforcement. We're not going to provide clear rules so that people know how to operate as other countries have done.
Well, there you have that, and that is getting exciting. Let me take a look. Let me stop this really quickly. Okay, so let's recap here for a second. This is what I want to say. I just showed you news about the Digital Euro Association partner with the real-time gross settlement system. I just showed you news about the Digital Pound Foundation asking the question if the digital dollar needs to be the digital dollar for the United States and be introduced and launched. it's a race to the digital dollar pole position in my eyes is what we're seeing here. Then I play you or show you information of Ripple partner Al Ansari in the UAE deepening their advances with India in cross-border remittances there, which is obviously Ripple partner. Then I play you the clip from Thinking Crypto. It's the federated sidechains launching private ledgers for central bank digital currencies around the world. There's a lot of irons in the fire, so on and so on. Then we see Brad Garlinghouse tell us that, there's so much good going on in this court case, and we know for a fact by the timeline of the court case, this case is coming to an end. It is winding down, and it does appear that it will be a strong Ripple win if it continues in this way, or settlement. So now we're going to take a look at this. Let's take a look at this right here. This came in from Gold Telegraph a short time ago here. Saudi Arabia considers accepting the Chinese yuan instead of dollars for Chinese oil sales. Is anybody old enough to remember? Because I'm not being condescending. There's a lot of different ages on this that listen to the channel. When Henry Kissinger set up the petrodollar with Saudi Arabia and OPEC, all that was put together. Does anybody remember that? I remember. I'm not old enough to remember when it happened, but I remember studying it, hearing about it in school. And it's where a lot of strength and value to the US dollar comes from. And if Saudi Arabia really does move to ditch the dollar for the Chinese yuan, it is going to be devastating to the value of the US dollar. Don't let anyone else tell you different. Which brings me to my next point, which is why I believe we're witnessing the rollout of a new financial system that really appears to be globally coordinated to some loose degree here. So this makes good case in my eyes, thinking of the Saudi Arabia relationship of using the yuan instead of the dollar. It makes a good case for the digital dollar backed by gold, repatriate the physical dollars, and XRP as a bridge currency in between to isolate the spillover shocks. Penny for your thoughts. Chris Giancarlo, head of the Digital Dollar Project. What the heck, make it a digital dollar for your thoughts? You know what? When I look at this, then I'm reminded of the BRICS coalition that Linda Jones shared here. Reminded us all we've talked about plenty here. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa plan to use SIPS, which is the China's interbanking payment system, so they could leave SWIFT. Problem of war will cause the solution of moving to a new financial system that is decentralized. I happen to agree with a great deal of that, and I tell you, I think to a large part, so does Mark Carney, the former president of the Bank of England from the group of 30 here, just back in 2019 actually, when he told us, if I could, just to remind those who have heard it, because of what we're seeing today, are we not witnessing what I'm about to read to you?
So enjoy your day, everybody. I'm always here for you. Leave any comments or questions below, and be sure to subscribe. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your day, and I always have your back. So thanks so much, everybody.